got 42.4 degrees this morning. I got reports from buddies who are up in the rivers that feed the Chesapeake Bay here. They had water temperatures as low as 37. So we've had a recent cold snap. It got warm through the end of February and early March, but March we got winter back. So looking at the thermodynamics of water and wind and sun and season is pretty important to catch the early spring striper bite. All right, there's the first one. That didn't take long. Yeah, it's a big head. Nice fish. Ooh, big throbbing head. So I'm located, like I said, Main Bay, West Shore, and it's a point sticking out at the mouth of one of these West Shore rivers. So yeah, good start. I didn't see anything on the depth finder. Oh, that's a big fish. All right, good start to the day. Just trolling hard baits. Hoping you stay hooked. I'm gonna loosen up on you a little bit. This is a first nice striper on my smallie stick. It is a heavy power moderate action, which is good on keeping treble hooked fish on the line. Softer action and custom. You know, this is not a rod anyways that I can get off the shelf in a spinning rod. And the reason I chose spinning, it does great as a bait caster. The equivalent of this is called the Magnum Cranker. But I wanted it in a spinning rod so I can make a nice long cast. All right, let me get this ready. And then we're gonna bring you up, take a nice picture. There we go. Good hard bait. And big fishy. All right. Oh, swack. See how big you are. You're over 40, aren't you? Yeah. Yep. 41 incher. That's a nice one. Nice big, heavy 41. All right, we'll get this big girl back in the water. Snapped a good pick. Get that 41 incher back in there. Bye bye, big girl. Go do your thing. Yeah, good start. I'm seeing bait fish here on this point. All right, now that we've caught a nice fish, let's do some pattern development observations. The first one I'm going to do, really it comes down to location and presentation. Let's talk about location first. I actually dropped a waypoint and I'm coming back up on it here, right there, and we're gonna move in on that spot. I'm gonna go ahead and drop the bait again. We'll talk about presentation here in a little bit. But we're gonna head back over that spot. But the first thing that we're gonna match with presentation is the speed. And I remembered as soon as I got hit, 3.4 miles per hour. That's enough line out there. The other thing that we got going on here, if you look at it, I'm a little bit wider than I'm going to go ahead and turn to get on that spot, but it's on the inside turn of what is this long point coming out here, and it hooks out here. So the tide is actually moving in this direction. It's low tide and it's coming up, and it's actually coming up a ridge. So the location is a transition from, like, you know, well, I think I'm up on the ridge now, but it came up from like 12, 15 up to like 9. So I'm gonna come back over that. But yeah, it's somewhere in this region is where he picked it up. And I went back and I marked the waypoint on it, and hopefully we can catch another fish and see if that same sort of set of observations of the location transition on the uptide side of a transition from deep to shallow. Basically, he's probably waiting, looking at current and food coming towards him as he has his back up against, you know, a rise. So, all right, I'm gonna zigzag this point a little bit more, then we'll talk a little bit about presentation. Are you kidding? Tell me you're running with it. Ah, on and off. Damn. All right, 11 feet. We're in the right area. The transitional 11. That was a good fish. Oh, all right, keep going. And again, I was going with the tide in this case. All right, keep moving. That was on and off. Wish that would have stayed on. Here. So part of the location portion of pattern development is depth, and depth is related in this case to temperature. I'm out over deeper water. I swung out into 16, 17 feet. Temperature went down. I had a deep diving jerkbait on. I'm going to take it off, and I'm actually, both of those fish hit the same lure, so I'm just going to tie 2 of them on and just run back shallow in that warmer water and just go back and forth over it, hoping I get another hit. Coming up on the same spot where I missed that other one. If you look at that waypoint up there, it was on a little bit of an inside turn. That's what this is right here. Same kind of deal. Warmer water, again, 42.8 that I had out on that point. So, but all I'm doing is looking to replicate the type of location. You know, once you figure out, well, you get 2 bites or 2 good fish with the same set of location. We had the same depth, we had similar water temperature, we had the contour transition from like 14, 15 feet up into 6, but I'm right on the 9. You look for common elements in catches of good fish. And in the case of the second one, I didn't catch it, but it doesn't matter. You can use it as part of your pattern development, the location part and the presentation. Also, I was moving with the current. That's a presentation part of it. So you combine all that and you start to form patterns. So I'm about to turn around and hit it going the other way, and I've actually come a little bit too shallow. So I'm gonna steer with my feet back out to deeper water. Moved it up into the shallows to go change the battery, and we're already up close to 47. So Thermodynamics, shallow water, warms a lot quicker than deep. So I found warm spots here and there. This one didn't make a whole lot of sense to me until I realized the wind had changed. It had been coming out of that direction, and we've had, you know, 6 hours, 7 hours of sunlight We're actually on the edge of a cloud bank. There's clouds this way, but this has been out over the main part of the bay. Has been really sunny, and we got a nice gentle breeze coming in. And I think all that's doing is maybe skimming off, almost like a squeegee on a piece of glass, just scraping off all that sun-warmed layer. And we're up to 43.7 here along this shoreline. So if they're fish here, I think it's certainly, you know, they'd be warm enough to be active. So 43.5, 43.7, but it is a little regional, I don't call it a hot spot, it's just a couple degrees warmer than other places. And it's wind driven, sun and wind driven. This morning we found tide driven, you know, warm spot with the bottom contour kind of holding it in place, or at least piling it up in one spot. And right now wind is coming in, piling it up here. I think I got a fish. Yeah, it's a little guy. He's off. So yeah, if the little ones are eating, the big ones should eat too. About time to call it a day. Any day you come out here on the bay and get a 41-inch striper is a good one. That and a shot at another big one that unfortunately got off. And I think this early in the season, we have water temperatures, I know in the upper bay, up where the Susquehanna comes in, is about 37 degrees. I got that report from a buddy who was up yesterday, who didn't catch fish. I did catch fish today. Further down in the bay, we have a little bit warmer water temperatures. I'm at 40, I got up to 43.9. Started the day, you know, 40, upper 41, 42 in that range. So I'm gonna head home and do some illustrations for you just to go over some of the thermodynamic concepts and how you can really use the, you know, the wind, sun, tides, all of that, and understand it with the bottom contour to find your warmest areas in the springtime and hopefully tie that into a larger pattern to catch the big fish as they move into these areas. All right, heading back, got another one to bite in this sort of corrugated cardboard, lumpy, bumpy kind of bottom. How's this gonna work? I would love to get my other line out of the way. I'm gonna use the Torpedo, chase after this fish, because it's a good one. I guess it's a dusk and dawn type of thing. Becomes shallow. Oh yeah. Loosen that up. Fat one. Fatty. Very nice. Oh yeah. Maybe it's not time to go home yet. How big are you? Oh, not as long as the other one, but fat. Yeah, they like the bumpy bottom. I noticed that. I came through once and I got a bite and it was on off. Maybe they're just coming shallow again for dusk. Get in there. Gotcha. Okay, open it up. Boom. Yo. Alright, nice fat 32-incher, 45-degree water. So it did warm up along here along this bank over the course of the day. So go ahead and let her go back. There she goes. Cool. So that's another fish to add to the pattern set, and everything wasn't quite the same. The presentation speed was the same. certainly was a warmer water area. It was shallower. The location I saw on the depth finder, the bottom was up and down like corrugated cardboard, and I think the fish sit down in there and let things wash over them. Just sit there and ambush and wait for food to come to them. But whatever, it was that type of bottom, that type of substrate, or that contour of structure. So it's, you know, it's just how you further refine a pattern. But it was in the same region as the 41. It was a little bit away from the other one, but overall it's less than 10 feet, and that means something early season, and that's certainly a common denominator. Oh, that's a heavy fish. Let me bring this one in. I'm really glad I didn't leave. Now I'm keeping my motor on because I want to keep pressure on this fish. Loosen that. Get the other one in. All right, that one's in. Now I'm going to chase him. Back off there. Come back to where this fish hit. I'm marking a waypoint. Got it. All right, he's gonna run out there. You go ahead and run out there. See ya. How big are you? Oh, that's a lot of water pumping up. That is a freaking beast. Big fish. Gotcha. You ready to see this? Yep, 2 hooks in here. Ready to see this fish? Oh. How big are you? You're pretty darn big. That's for sure. Yeah! Oh, big fish. Awesome. All right, we're gonna take some pics and get you home. Done a little bit of moving with this fish to revive it. I think she's about ready to go. Let's take a look. Bring her back up. See how big this fish is. Yeah, she's shaking it. Big fish, ready to go spawn here in another. Go. Nice big fish. Moving off. Going back into the deep water. I didn't want to put her right back in. I just think that hard and that long of a fight, the fish needed to be moved a little bit. So I held on to her a little bit, used the torpedo and moved her along. So it's a good day. Nice 41 and 43 and that 32. So good early season day. We're also going to take another look at the temperature. See what we gained. So we got up to 45.5, and a lot of that was from the wind coming in to this area. just skimming off the sun-warmed water and moving it into these shallows. That was an excellent day. 2 of them over 40 inches and a 32, and a couple other fish that were on and off. It's a good day. And the central theme in this, in early spring and finding good patterns at work, is finding water that warms during a warming trend, but is also somewhat protected when the northwest wind blows. Let me show you, because it'll alternate. A couple days ago, we had, actually, yesterday morning, it snowed about an inch. A week ago, we had 10 inches of snow, and in between, for several days, we had temperatures in the teens. And that's when we were having this cold northwest wind coming down. And you think about this is the main bay, right? And this is the west side of the bay. This landmass actually protects, in particular, points like this that come out, protects it from the northwest wind. If you went to the other side of the bay, they're much more affected by the cold northwest winds. Now, warm southerly breezes, on the other hand, that come up, and this is sort of the point. It kind of had a cup shape, and in the incoming tide, we had a lot of shallow water. Shallow water warms up quick. It also cools off very quick when you do have cold northwest winds. So in the idea of deep versus shallow, deep water has more stable temperatures. It doesn't warm up quick, it doesn't cool off quick when you have the northwest wind. Shallow water, on the other hand, is really where you want to be in a warming trend, and that's really what we had today. We had somewhat of a warm southerly breeze coming in, and it just skimmed all that surface warmth and just piled up on this shallow point. So the other thing that you need to look at is how many hours of sunlight. If you have a lot of sunlight as opposed to cloudy days, it's going to warm up the shallows even more. Something that's kind of cool, this is saltwater and we're talking about stripers, but a couple, maybe a year ago, a little more than a year ago, I went over the same concept with, that's not a striper, that's a largemouth bass. It's the same sort of thing, where a gentle breeze, you'll have the surface warmed layer up here, and it'll scrape that off and just pile it up on a particular, southerly facing bank. So even though you have colder water down deep, as you move shallow, if you have a warm southerly breeze, it just scrapes it off. So thinking through the thermodynamics of spring is really it'll just give you a leg up. You got to look at your charts and see, hey, where are those shallow southerly facing banks that have a lot of shallow water around them, that either the tide or the wind is going to pile up a lot of warm water in there. Then you just get in that area, troll around, and find the right kind of structure. For me, it was that very ridgy type of bottom. The fish like to get in that, and I think they were just hunkered down in there just waiting for food to wash over them. They were certainly in there feeding. But that's it. Find the warmer water that's shallow in spring during a warm-up, and they should be in there.